not bring those folks into it.
Do you not like the monkeys, Adam?
I could have gone Dreamer Deceiver with Judas Priest. That probably would have been better for you.
Yes, that would have been much better.
Dreamer Deceiver!
Wow. That gets
finally,
two thumbs up.
That's fantastic.
I did. How do you come back from that moment right there? You just can't really.
Give me a wink.
I can't wink at you. I'm winking. You can you hear it?
All we can hear is you. Blink, blink.
I don't know if that's mine or yours.
Blink, blink.
This is Adam. Goodbye.
Welcome back to the Jack of the Shadows podcast, episode 22. I'm Eric VC, and as always, I'm joined by my trusty Salt and Pepper, the VC boys. Say hello, Adam.
Hello. I have salt and pepper in my hair.
Say hello, Dave.
I am definitely salt because I don't want to be pepper.
This episode, we will be covering the amazingly eventful chapters 25 through 30 as we pass through Robert Jordan's The Dragon Reborn, the third installment of the Wheel of Time epic fantasy series. This will start off with a view from Dragonmount, and then we will see which way the wind is blowing with What Shook Your Willow. Next, we'll watch as the sun dips below the horizon and confront our fear of the dark before we fall asleep and see what lies in dreams. We'll then get taken to the mat before wishing happy trails and then heading into the home stretch with our Coplin of the week and Who Leveled Up. Is everybody excited for this week's episode?
Way to go. Well
We
done.
are excited.
All right.
It's rich and compelling.
Let's ascend to the heights of Dragonmount and see what lay behind us and what we read for this episode. Last episode, we read chapters 19 through 24 and saw Matt finally awaken after having been separated from the dagger of Shadar Logoth, and he was told to stay within the confines of Tar Valon while he recovered. Simultaneously, Egwene and the girls are given a list of the Black Aja and a ter'angreal that takes her to Tel'aran'rhiod, the World of Dreams, by Varen, before she and Elaine pass the test for becoming accepted.
Adam found something very amusing.
Ter'angreal to Tel'aran'rhiod.
Ter'angreal to Tel'aran'rhiod.
Yes.
So this episode, we read chapters 25 through 30, where someone posing as Els Grinwell tells the young women where the Black Aja's effects have been stored. Egwene goes running after Els and runs into someone who looks a lot like Lanfear. Egwene, Nynaeve, and Elaine then look through the Black Aja's things and conclude that they are in Tyr. Later, we learn that Els was dismissed days prior to her appearance to these women, and the Black Aja's effects had been burned shortly after being gathered. Next, the newly accepted convinced Matt to take a letter of Elaine's departure to Queen Morgase, using one of their letters of passage from the Amerlin. Then Egwene uses the ter'angreal to travel to Tel'aran'rhiod, where she gains further confirmation that the Black Aja's heading toward the heart of the Stone of Tyr, where Calendar is stored. Matt then heads into South Harbor to depart for Erangel on the Aranin before he gets caught up in a gambling frenzy and finds himself heading to the Woman of Tanchico. As the Eye of the World and the Great Hunt ended in Falme, all roads seem to lead to Tyr, the Heart of the Stone, and Calendor. So those are this week's plot points. Now let's discuss our favorite moments of the week as we check the wind in What Shook Your Willow.
I couldn't really look at that, Adam. I more listened to that.
That was a road. That was a long road.
It was a long and winding road that leads to your door.
There's a backpack to unpack.
It's a long road when you're on your own.
So, Adam.
First Blood, anybody? No?
What? Yes.
Oh, me?
Yeah, what shook your willow this week? Buddy boy?
Okay.
Hey, buddy.
So there is some interest that takes place here that we learn about the stone, and that the lords of Tyr come in, and then they're risen to high lords performing the rite of the guardian, protecting this Calendor, the sword that we discovered. And then what we find out is that the stone has to fall, and that will be one of the signs that the dragon is reborn. So that seems very interesting to me, that there's this land that all these people come in, and then they're protecting this thing that it seems like they hate, but they have to do it.
And you mentioned also about one of the signs, but not the penultimate thing. It's like one of the things that has to happen, but it's not the only one.
That is exactly it.
So before Rand left, at the very beginning of this book, Moiraine talked about a couple of signs that will occur. So we've known before that one of the signs of the dragon is that he will hold Calendor. Yeah. And then one of the other signs that Moiraine mentioned was that the people of the dragon will take the stone, which is this impenetrable.
Do we think they're correlated?
I mean, how could they not be? But there
seems like they would be.
But there's a catch-22 here in that
well, obviously we saw in the dream section it's warded, and it seems like it's warded by both Saidar and Sayadine, so I don't really know what to think about that, but I just know the stone is pretty impenetrable from what they're saying. So for the people of Dragon to get in there, and well, let's face it, for Rand to get in there is going to be pretty problematic. Right. It's not like they're going to be like, hey, look at this guy, let him in.
Right. It'd be a huge issue. One of the other things that you brought up is that they also have one of the largest collections of ter'angreal in Tyr. Second only, Swan mentions this when she's talking to Egwene in the kitchen.
Second to the White Tower.
Second to the White Tower, exactly.
They hate this stuff.
Right, because Swan guesses that one of the reasons why is they're trying to purge the world of this stuff.
We hate it so you can't have it.
In order to almost deny its existence.
They seem to hate this stuff, and so they're collecting it up. They're trying to get rid of it, but they hate the fact that this is what they have to do because they just completely don't respect that.
I think what it has to do with is the fact that they have Kalendor, and Kalendor is essentially a sign of Armageddon, right? Because it proclaims the dragon reborn, and they know, unlike the rest of the world, they seem to be, at least the High Lords of Tyr, seem to be incredibly knowledgeable about the Carethan cycle and what it really means.
Well, whether or not they know that Rand is going to go to the last battle with Kalendor, who knows? Because even Aes Sedai, who are supposed to know this, don't even know that, or don't even believe that he's, they're just supposed to chain him up and wait for who knows what.
I think that they are more trusting in prophecy, and that prophecy will fulfill itself. The Aes Sedai don't seem to trust prophecy. They seem to think that it's their place in the world to make prophecy happen, which is why you have Moiraine and Swan tagging along the Dragon Reborn in order to make sure he gets to where he's supposed to go, which is a really interesting thing because it's a difference in people type. You have the one type of people who are like, yep, the Wheel of Time will take care of this because this is where he's supposed to end up. And then you have Swan and Moiraine who are like, nope, we aren't going to trust that. We're going to make it happen ourselves, or we're going to make sure it happens.
Well, there's dark prophecy, let's not forget. So which one is real? Which one's the one that's really going to happen? So if you aren't helping to shape that prophecy happen, you are relying, just like the people in the Stone of Tyr, of, okay, it's just going to pan out. But guess what? There's dark prophecy. So how you can't have both panning out. So which one's it going to be?
Do you think that they respect dark prophecy, or do they?
I think most people probably don't know it exists.
Yeah, I think that we've been given indication that its existence is unknown.
I think the Aes Sedai know about it, which might be why they are particularly putting their hands into the pot, so to speak, to try to force prophecy along.
No, I'm talking specifically about Moiraine and Swan Sanche, and if they respect dark prophecy.
I would think so.
I think they do.
Okay.
I don't think they're aware of very much. I think the person who's probably aware of most of it is Varen.
Right.
So great Willow moment, Adam. My Willow for the week is we haven't seen Rand in a while, right? He's just been out there.
He's just been like here and there.
Maybe that's good because he's been slightly annoying.
I want to see him. I want to see him doing some stuff, though.
Well, the last time we saw him, he was throwing giant beams of light at large black dogs and making them disappear. Yeah. But now we run into him in Egwene's travel into Teleron.
Were they the dogs of war?
They might have been. So this is the first time that we have two people in the same dream, by the way. We've been talking about whether or not this could occur.
Yeah.
We've seen this occur here now for the first time.
Good point.
And then we learn a little bit about what's been what's been going on.
Way to go, Eric.
Ding!
Yeah.
Tip, That's the iPhone ding noise going on.
Yes. We've also learned that apparently Rand has been attacked in his dreams by several other people posing as his parents and a woman.
So he's being attacked in the flesh and in his dreams.
I think, yes, he's being attacked by the dogs in his flesh, but these people are coming in his dreams. He mentions that his mom came with a honey cake that smelled like poison. His father came to give him a hug and had a knife and tried to stab him in the ribs. And then some woman came and offered kisses and more, which I can only guess was Lanfear?
Could be anybody. Could be anybody at this point.
He said
Ooh,
That doesn't seem to be Lanfear
Lanfear.
style. Lanfear wants to partner up with them.
right. He said she came and offered kisses and more. So I don't know who that would have been, but it's somebody he would have let come close to him. So it would have been somebody he would have known.
Maybe Elaine.
That's a good guess. So he's getting these attacks in his dream, and then Elaine tries to use the one power on him, and he uses that power sword that he has, and he snaps her channeling. He cuts her channeling with the sword that he has, and he says, "I've learned quickly." So apparently he's witnessed somebody do this to him and learned how it could be done, and it totally catches Egwene off guard. I think I said Elaine earlier, but
That's all right.
it's the whole rhyming thing again. It totally catches Egwene off guard.
All of these people are learning very quickly.
They are.
In this world, you better.
All of them are.
Or you're toast.
Egwene, do you think Rand can tell the difference between his dream world and reality at this point? He
I
seems
was
to be going
I was
bonkers.
wondering that. I think he's able to differentiate. He's not as crazy as Matt wants him to be, but
Yeah.
I think he's able to decipher between the two. I think he's probably far more sane than everyone realizes and just is dealing with that in ways they've never seen Rand deal with things before. So they automatically think, oh, because he's a little bit outside of his norm, he's completely gone off the deep end. Well, that's not necessarily true. He's in a highly stressful situation, but you've never seen him in these sorts of situations. So what do you have to judge it against?
So the other question is, have his dreams always been in this Teleranrio world? Because this seems to be a new world that is over all dreams, and other dreams sort of pop in and out of it.
I'm guessing all those weird little interactions they had with Balsamon and all those things, all is probably
You
part
think
of this
they all
page.
happened in this world?
That's my guess.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to learning more
Because
about
it's
this.
so vivid
Seems
and
like
it's so interactive. Like there's so much that goes on. It's not like your normal, dreamy type of stuff. It's a deeper reality.
Yeah.
It seems like if you get wounded in one, you get wounded in real life.
Right. It comes across to real life. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to learning more about this world and who is in what and where some of these other dreams, have come from, and if they all occur here or if there are these other weird like underworlds where other dreams happen. That was my Willow of the Week. So what was yours, Dave?
Mine has to do with the creepy old woman in dreams, Sylvie, who Sylvie is an odd bird. She is she's half off her rocker, it seems.
And she ugly.
She's very ugly. And she makes some really interesting statements. Is it peculiar that Egwene says out loud, "I need to know what the Black Aja wants. Take me to the answer." And then all of a sudden this creepy old woman pops up.
First of all, she's able to just get to Kalendor by saying that. So that's crazy.
So that's part of what we're figuring out in the dream world from what we know. When she was talking about, she was trying to get the ring to make it do what she wanted by wishing or thinking about what you want. So it's like, that's part of that answer. But for me, the bigger thing was she talks about the Black Aja and then this woman's here. And if you notice also, this woman,
get on with your bad self.
She's talking about the Forsaken, but she particularly mentions the Great Lord.
Yeah.
Now, that's not the terminology anyone else would use. Everyone else calls him the Dark One, the Evil One, whatever, blah, blah, blah. She uses a term to refer to a master, like one will refer to a master. I have no trust for this woman, let alone the fact that she seems to zap Egwene when she's going out of the dream world and tries to steal that ring. I don't know what she was doing when she was trying to get her hands on the ring.
Trying to get her out of there.
I don't know if she was trying to get her out of there, if she was trying to get the ring, if she was trying to kill her. I don't know what she was doing. She altogether has a lot of interesting information for a quote-unquote servant. She mentioned something about serving
your family all these years.
Egwene does not have any servants. She works in an innkeeper's house.
Yeah.
She's an innkeeper. She's got so why Egwene didn't pick up on that and be like, we don't have servants. We just run an inn.
That's a weird way to introduce herself to her. I don't get that.
No, I don't get it either. There's all sorts of bad news to me about this.
I mean,
woman.
She does also suggest that servants can enter the heart of the stone without the lords caring whether or not they're there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but to suggest, because there's a suggestion that that Egwene has known old Sylvie for a while, and she clearly doesn't.
No.
And that woman, unless she's completely senile, has to know that.
There's some sort of game being played here.
Yeah. I mean,
but it's not a very
excuses.
successful one.
No.
But at the same time it is, because Egwene just goes along with it.
Dave, you're asking people to actually discuss things that they've gone through.
Right, and we know these
That's a
Emmons
little
Fielders are tight-lipped.
Yeah.
You're asking
all-
for a little much.
I'm asking for a conversation. Look out.
So the other...
Me too. That's all I've been asking for this entire time. So do we think that this is someone that's disguised as someone else then? Or is
there's no doubt.
it seems like people are able to disguise themselves as other people. Is
Absolutely.
my only point.
Agreed.
So I don't,
And
who knows what this woman is.
she has a familiarity with the Shamael. She calls the whatever,
Yeah,
the
what she
Dark Lord, the
tries-
Great Lord of the Dark.
Yeah, what she tries to backtrack and being like,
Right.
oh no, I'm just joking around.
Oh yeah,
Right.
just
That's how
everyone's.
we deal
It's a phrase everybody knows except for you.
So
You get it.
the quotation is all of them pretending to serve the Great Lord, and all the while plotting and planning to regain what they lost, each one thinking he or she is the only one plotting. Ishamael is a fool. That is a great...
Well, there we go.
That is actually a great segue
Way to go, Dave.
Moving right along.
into our
What
next
a
topic,
boy.
which is
Yeah.
fear of the
My
dark.
guy.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Sing it,
talk
Dave.
a little
Sing
bit.
it.
Fear of the dark.
We're going to talk a little bit here about all of the different dark characters that we've run into in these 6 chapters. So the first instance of this is that our newly accepted plus Nynaeve are discussing their recent events and who should appear but Els Grinwell.
Or not.
And she has come bearing news from the Amerlin that the effects left over by the 13 Black Aja are in a storeroom underneath the library.
There's so much to go here with this.
And the girls are like, why in the world
I have
did Swan use this bimbo to give us this incredibly important information?
Here's how-
So Egwene goes running out after her.
You can't say that.
And
I just did.
well, no, they call her an idiot. I mean, they don't
They're not calling
respect her,
a
either.
bimbo.
Swan all but calls her a bimbo.
Right.
And they want to make sure that she doesn't go blabbing this information to anybody else. Egwene goes out chasing after her and sees her running around the corner. So she goes out chasing after her and finally tracks down this white blob, and it is our gorgeous woman in white and silver who we now know is Lanfear.
Or is it? We don't know, and I've gone back and forth with this. Was that Lanfear in disguise, or did that other person disappear and she runs into Lanfear, and these are two different people?
So Egwene runs into an incredibly haughty and gorgeous woman who makes her feel lesser.
There's no question. There's no question in anyone's mind that's Lanfear.
Okay, yeah, that's all I'm saying. That's Lanfear.
Right, but my
Okay.
point is, the other woman does disappears for a period of time before she runs into Lanfear.
Right.
I cannot conceive
No,
of Lanfear being in disguise, telling him to be like, go look for this
Being in
Kasha Mango.
disguise as Els Grinwell?
Yes.
Because you think she's
Okay.
plump?
No.
That's a really weird coincidence.
It is a weird coincidence, but we've seen
Yeah.
plenty of weird coincidences. I can't see Lanfear being anything other than who she is.
That's fair. I would be disappointed in that coincidence.
Dave,
Yes.
you said some amount of time, and that some amount of time you said was about 0.5 seconds. That would be...
I don't know how much
Huge
further down the hallway it
coincidence.
is.
not
No,
long.
she talks about specifically, even after it happening, like, wow, she saw Elsa going down the hallway, and then she saw a white dress go past a corner.
Okay,
Then
so
she got to that corner. So some amount of time is 1 second. at
so
the
well
most.
here's two things.
And then,
Do we know if that's Lanfear going around the corner, or do we even know if that's Els going around the corner?
all we know is that Else wasn't in the tower. She doesn't belong there. She's
Right.
She's gone
My
elsewhere. So it's-
my point of conjecture
Right.
is it could be two different
Elsewhere.
people, or it could be Lanfear herself.
Sure,
I think
don't
that
either.
this is Lanfear.
She brought up the fact to Matt last week that she came there to see some people.
Right.
So,
She's there on a
Who are
mission.
those people that she came there to see? Was it Egwene?
or was it other dark friends?
I don't
Black
think
Ajah, more Black Ajah.
One of the things that gets mentioned here is that of the 13, there's 2 missing from every color of Aja
Except for the red.
For the red.
Which is the one you would almost be convinced there'd be more of.
It's certainly the one that I would be. Which means there's
probably are.
Right. There's at least one other red that's there in the tower. Now, the other conclusion that the girls reach is because this pattern is so specific, there must be more, that they could have chosen this deliberately. So it's this pattern that leads them to be certain of the fact that there are more Black Ajah still in the tower.
Elaine is the one that brought that up. Good job,
She's
Elaine.
not just a pretty face.
Her mind is really good. I'm glad to see Elaine actually doing some sleuthing here.
Well, it's interesting. She's the only one whose testing we find nothing out about.
Thank heaven that testing section
Very
was
true
rough for me. It was a long read.
I enjoyed those.
Oh, I love that testing section.
I wish we'd have known what Elaine's was. What did she go through? What did she see that was terrible and that was like her worst fear? We found out for Nynaeve and Egwene. Why not Elaine?
I don't want to sound really insensitive, but I think she probably lost a bobby pin.
One of the other things, backtracking a little bit, is when Sylvie talks to Egwene. Right when Egwene appears, the first thing she says is, "Oh, you finally got here," or I'm paraphrasing. As if she'd been waiting for her to arrive.
She's been spying on her.
Another question.
Clearly.
Right. That's disconcerting.
Do you think possibly that she doesn't recognize who Egwene actually is?
No.
Yeah.
So this person's either in the
is
tower
she
or
thinking that she would take forever to get there. I don't understand that. Egwene did not take a long time whatsoever.
My guess is she was
pretty
following
fast
her
that
in
she
the
got
dream.
there.
She was following her in the dream.
She was either following her in the dream or in reality. Because in reality, people are in the tower talking about her being a dreamer. So
she was like, "Why didn't you?"
If they're following her in the tower in order for a dreamer, why aren't you in the dreams yet?
That's so interesting because it seems like she was brought there by this being.
I don't think she was brought there.
I don't think she was brought there, but I think she just got to the area where that woman was also waiting for her to arrive at, and she's kind of like, "Well, here you are finally. What took you so long?"
That dovetails
Dovetails,
woo!
That dovetails really nicely into a conversation about the
Launchpad McQuack
stuff left by the Black Ajah, because we know that that's not really there.
This is where no, it's there.
No, it's not. It got burned.
No. It did get burned. It's other stuff. It's stuff that was planted. So it is there.
I think
the girls have the evidence. They're carrying the evidence around with them.
Yes, they are. I think that it was materialized by one of the Forsaken. I think it was materialized by Lanfear, who appeared to them and told them that stuff was there.
Well, it is real stuff.
It is real stuff.
I thought you were saying that it wasn't real stuff, like they just imagined that it was there and it was there. No, I think, yes, you're absolutely correct. The other stuff was burned and that stuff was planted.
I think that's the stuff that was burned and somebody recreated it and put it there.
The weirdest thing about this is the fact that they have a lock and key on this doorway that obviously is not going to work because you have freaking Aes Sedai that can get through that. So it does seem like it was planted. They keep talking about tripping the trap, and that seems like a trap that was tripped right there. Because why on earth are they keeping a lock and key on that? Because that could get what would that do? It's not being warded by anything. It's just a chain and a lock. Someone put that there just to be like, hey, come into this room.
Well, I think
you should come and see this stuff.
Whoever it was the Forsaken that appeared to them and told them that this stuff was there, I think it's the same stuff that got burned. I think that it got recreated and put in that room. And I think that all of those different pieces indicating Tyr were all also fabricated and put in those pockets, because don't you think
it's a combination of two
total plant?
Oh, I know it's a total plant. So what you're saying is there's original evidence and additional evidence added. Because yes, if the evidence that was added was originally there, everyone would have been like, they're in Tyr.
Correct.
Don't go to Tyr.
Right.
I'm just thinking it's all secondary evidence. I think the original stuff was burned, and this is all new factual stuff.
But then you would be suggesting that they didn't find any, that Swan and whoever she had collect everything didn't find their clothes, which I would think they would have.
I don't think Swan wanted them to have that because they went through it all and it didn't matter.
Right. So she said they had it burned. She had it burned.
Right. Well, we find this out post haste. But my point is more the fact that whatever they had, there was nothing of value in there.
Right. There wasn't anything.
So they never told them go to this room. So that lock was put on there not to keep people out. The lock was made to put on there. It seemed like it was important stuff.
Right.
The lock was there as a plant also.
Yeah. The lock is part of the facade of it all. I just think that we know that the Forsaken can recreate an image of somebody else. I think they just recreated that stuff, put it in there, and then planted that other stuff in there too.
We won't ever know. But here's another interesting thing. Okay, so we know they're paying attention to Egwene. What if they hadn't been able to open that lock? Egwene was the only one with the power in metal to be able to open that lock. The other ones would not have been able to get it done. So how long have they been paying attention to know that Egwene has that power?
I think Nynaeve could have blasted it. I thought Egwene opened it.
I thought
Egwene
opened it. Nynaeve opened it.
Okay, that's fine.
She had the crowbar.
Oh, no, wait, yeah.
The crowbar.
Egwene did something and did something weird to the chain.
The interesting thing, though, Dave.
Egwene says that Nynaeve breaks it open really easily, and Egwene is like, I did something to it. That's the reason it snapped so easily.
Right.
This is just another example of Egwene getting into that and like exploring situations that she doesn't understand how she's getting to them, but she's performing results. Same with both of them. Same with Nynaeve.
Yeah.
Do you think that Nynaeve could have opened that lock without Egwene doing that, though?
Probably not.
I think she could have.
I think she could have.
Well, is she a beast with brute strength?
I don't think that the lock
Yes,
is
Have you
there.
ever tried to break a lock?
She is a beast with brute strength.
She
I think
is,
that's,
yeah.
I think that's her description.
She's
angry.
tiny.
That's exactly what she is. She's a beast.
She's
it doesn't
a
matter.
one-power
She's a
beast.
The only way that she can do anything,
But she didn't use the power to break that open. She used a crowbar.
Angry.
No, she created that crowbar with the one power.
Oh.
She's the Hulk.
Okay. She's the Hulk. She uses her Hulk hands.
The lock is just on there for show. It's not really on there to keep them out. It's just on there to make them
to reinforce the idea that there's important. Yeah.
Yep. So those are
it worked.
That's that whole issue of Dark Friend. Then there are just gray men everywhere in Tar Valon. They're all over the place now.
This one just dies.
They've shot a crossbow bolt at Egwene and Nynaeve, and then there's one There's one that shows up just dead on Shiriam's bed.
So who kills that one?
Right. Well, these incredible assassins. This one is just dead without any marks on her. It's a woman. That's really...
What point does that serve?
Well, that's the other thing, is that Egwene, Elaine, and Nynaeve wonder, did Shiriam just plant that woman there in order to make her, in order to remove her from the list of possible... Like, what do you guys think?
What I think is we keep getting these really bad, awesome characters that are super... like you can't destroy them, and then they just keep getting destroyed. So by our characters that
it seems like the gray powers.
In terms of this, that this is someone in someone's bed.
Great man.
It does seem a little fishy.
It does seem fishy.
It seems like it could have been a plan.
So is it trying to draw suspicion upon Shiriam, or is it trying to draw suspicion away from Shiriam, or it could be one of several things? And I'm not sure which it is.
And me either.
So that's one of the areas of question.
So last week we discussed gray men and the fact that
or women,
whatever, just
great people
that they have sold their souls to basically go kill, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've sold their souls to Shaitan. People don't even see them.
They're scared of them because they come out of nowhere.
Most people don't even, I'm guessing most people don't know they exist. I mean, most people can't even see them.
They just seem like really regular looking folk that you wouldn't actually be able to see, and then all of a sudden they get you. Right. So
that's their
biggest quality is the fact that they just are camouflaged.
They're sidlers.
But there's some other something disguising them somehow. Right. They're
the
sidlers.
ultimate sidler.
Yeah. But there's also something. Remember,
it's like, oh, well, there's a guy standing right next to me. Oh, there's a guy standing right next to me.
Oh, he has a knife. Remember, we talked about that thing that
they need
that warding that Moiraine did, where the eye kind of glides over the thing that she had warded. They have something like that on them too, where your eye kind of glides past them.
Okay, yeah.
So you're saying they're power coded?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're coated. They're powder coated,
created, or something's done to them.
I think so because
juju.
They are incredibly common looking, but still, I feel like you look at them and you don't really see them.
Yeah.
So how that happens, we've never had an accurate description of it, but I imagine it in my mind as something like that. So
we have had an accurate description of it.
Well, we've had an accurate description of them. We haven't had a detailed description
what that source of their normalcy is.
Having confronted our fear of the dark, we can finally fall asleep and see what lies in dreams.
The candy-coated Sandman.
The candy-coated Sandman.
We candy coat our Sandman.
Not a candy-colored clown. They call the Sandman.
Nope. I've changed it. I like a candy-coated Sandman.
The candy-coated Sandman busts through my door with a moan.
Don't worry about it. They got health benefits.
Candy.
That's right.
I'm the greedy.
Oh, I miss Loyal.
I can never get
That's not Loyal. That's the greedy. But yeah, I did think it was Loyal at first as well.
No.
It's the greedy and Loyal are the same voice. Exactly.
All right. We have two different dream instances of Egwene's. First, she awakes at the beginning of this segment with a dream, with what she considers a normal dream. And then we have the dream that she goes into with the Terangriel into Tel'aran'rhiod. So we're going to break up those two different dreams because I think we actually get more from the first grouping of dreams than we get from Tel'aran'rhiod. So
except for dear old Sylvie.
Except for dear old Sylvie and the little bit we get with Rand. So if you remember,
she's been talked about to death.
So there had been a dream with Rand where he was reaching for a sword that seemed to be made of crystal. We're pretty clear on what that is at this point.
I know what that one is.
Never seeing the fine net that dropped over him. Then she had one of him kneeling in a chamber where a parched wind blew dust across the floor, and creatures like the dragon on the banner, but much smaller, floated on the wind and settled on his skin.
Who knows?
There had been a dream of him walking down into a great hole in a black mountain, and then a hole filled with a reddish glare from vast fires below, and even a dream of him confronting Seanchan.
Twice shall he be marked, the heron and twice the dragon. On his skin.
Yes. So he has one heron marking right now and no dragon markings.
Right, but that's an accurate image.
All right, so maybe there's some dragon marking coming in the future. So she's seeing a little bit of the Carethan cycle there.
Mm-hmm.
What is that wind on the dust? What's up with that?
So there is a chamber
Well, it
where
could be dust on the wind.
A parched wind blew dust across the floor.
Because all we are is dust
just Kansas
on the wind.
It's
Exactly.
yes.
Dust
The wheat fields.
in the wind.
Dust in the wind. Ooh.
Candy-coated Sandman.
Candy-coated, tasty little
Candy-coated
Sandman.
Did you just say tasty?
I did say
like
tasty. Candy-coated,
No.
candy-coated,
No.
tasty Sandman.
No.
It's my new handle.
EDC, the candy-coated Sandman.
Candy-coated, tasty Sandman. I'm just going to keep saying tasty to try to make Adam uncomfortable.
Oh, man.
Moist and tasty.
Oh, stop that. That just, no. You keep doing that, I'm going to say,
Welcome to the podcast.
Oh, Jess.
every time you say...
We've changed our name. It's now moist and tasty.
Every time you say rich and compelling, I'm going to say moist and tasty.
and I'm going to come back with, oh, Jess.
Ooh, shallow.
All right, so we have a little bit of an idea of that, of the dragon banner. There had been a dream of him walking down into a great hole in a black mountain. That can only be Thakandar, right?
Yeah.
So that's
a good
kind of
guess.
Didn't that already
scary.
happen?
That would be the end of the world. I
thought
don't
that
think
happened
that's
at the end of
happened.
the first book.
No, he hasn't entered Thakandar. I mean, we had conjecture that some of his dreams where he was meeting Baalzamon were there.
No. Yeah.
But that's sort of
No, I know,
scary
he
if
went
he's
to
going to
the-
go walk down and meet Baalzamon.
Well,
and
he has to, I would imagine, to fight the last battle.
maybe.
Well, he's already met him twice.
That was up in the sky, though, where the wheels in the sky
Maybe.
keep on turning.
And then he's already confronted the Seanchan. She just doesn't know about it, I don't think. You would think he would have told her, though.
Well,
Because they were together
unless
after
it's foretelling, because they left and that was not the return. So, unless
Oh, great. They're going to come back.
These are
Eric.
coming back.
Eric.
Adam.
Again, you think that people are talking about things.
Right.
No.
I make the mistake of thinking that these Emmett Fielders have the gift of gab. They are clearly closed-mouthed people. All right, so that is Rand. Then
Didn't you catch that? That was me doing that with a closed mouth.
Well,
Southern Red.
she has a dream of Perrin. She dreams of Perrin with a falcon on his shoulder and Perrin with a hawk, only the hawk held a leash in her talons, and it was her. Egwene was somehow convinced both the hawk and the falcon were female.
Matt with a falcon.
Nope.
No.
Perrin. And the hawk was trying to fasten the leash around Perrin's neck.
Oh, yeah.
That made her shiver. She did not like dreams about leashes, obviously. And then that dream had Perrin with a beard in it, and he was leading a huge pack of wolves that stretched as far as the eye could see. An army of wolves!
Yes, that was the sixth army.
If only.
Well, looks like it's going to
I'll believe
happen.
it when I
The
see
Battle
it.
of the Six Armies.
Picks,
A battle
or
of
it
four
didn't happen,
armies.
Perrin.
Okay, so, yeah. We're going to need to keep our eye out for
How much of that
hawks
is
and
prophecy?
falcons.
How much
Matt
of that
with
is-
It's Matt with the red hawk.
The only thing that I can guess
Yes.
is the hawk. My
That
guess,
Manetherin.
my
is
guess at this point is that the hawk is Lanfear, because we know that Lanfear has appeared to him.
Well, Lanfear is
Do you
that?
think that's Lanfear?
I don't think that's Lanfear.
It has a leash, and
I
it's
don't think
trying
that's
to
Lanfear.
put it around his neck, and she doesn't like it.
Come on,
She thinks
I mean-
it's dangerous.
I mean, I suppose it's possible.
That's my guess. That's
Yeah,
just my
sure,
guess.
it's
I'm not,
possible.
I'm not saying it's
Okay.
No, yeah, okay.
I'm not writing it down as gospel.
It seemed to me, it seems like maybe it's his stupid misunderstanding of what his relationship is between him and the wolves.
Maybe you don't really want to know.
Maybe we just don't know.
Yeah,
It could be
Come
things
on,
to come.
I need more of that.
No, that was
Ooh,
That was
that
rough.
sounded like
Oh, it's
that
so
sounded
good.
like.
we need that. Get
What's
sweet
the name
guitar
of that
lick.
woman?
It sounded like an
Ooh,
ice
that's
pick.
some-
It sounded like
sounded
Sylvie.
like- no, it sounded like Carol Channing doing
that would
Oasis.
have been maybe a candy-coated Sandman.
Stop it! Don't
Stop
sell
it.
yourself short. That's
Stop it.
unfortunate. Don't fear failure.
Okay, so those are the
Embrace
dreams
your
that she had
fear,
about
Dark.
Perrin. So she then has a dream about Matt. Those dreams she had about Matt, she felt like were worse. She saw Matt placing his
Eye on
own
the
left
scale.
eye on a balance scale.
Mm-hmm.
She saw Matt hanging by his neck from a tree limb.
Mm-hmm.
There was a dream about Matt and the Sean chant as well.
Shang.
And
To the chun chun chun.
One, two,
and those are
that.
the three dreams those are the three different dreams that she has about Matt. So I've got
Those
nothing.
are not comfortable.
I got nothing on any of those. They don't mean anything to me so far.
I have something on those.
Ooh, Adam coming in from
something.
left field.
Well, not really. I'm coming in from shortstop because I
Oh,
just
okay.
fire
Seeds.
that ball to first base.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless you're Addison Russell.
No.
Then your arm would give
he's
out.
a betting man. Obviously, this is what Matt is. He's a betting man. So it seems like,
Okay.
sometimes you lose, man.
That's a
Sometimes
scale,
you lose.
I guess.
So
maybe
you-
sometimes you're going to get your neck hung up.
Oh, I was going more with the scale than getting your
Yeah,
neck hung
the
up. but
scale on the
okay.
eye seems more like a
Well,
like
the
a
scale in the eye
apropos.
makes sense. Exactly. It
Okay.
does seem like a gamble.
All right.
Or he bet too much, or he bet
Yeah.
too much, and the only way that he can solve the problem is his life.
Okay.
Or the way someone else got the
Yeah.
cost. The cost
Or
was-
maybe they,
Yeah.
maybe they just
So-
hang gamblers in some place.
I mean,
Probably.
though it was the Wild West.
Right,
Maybe it's,
exactly.
They would Han Solo that nonsense.
the
Right.
Wild Era Doman. Who knows?
So those are her quote unquote normal dreams.
They're
Right.
as normal as they are.
Then we have the Teleron Rio dream, where
So
take it away,
I mean,
Adam.
Whatever. We have such little information about what dreamers actually are. Oh my gosh. Egwene has this ability
To think.
that has been kind of pointed out that she may or may not have from people, and it's been developed in the slightest sense of what it might be.
Well, we're certainly seeing it, I think.
Did she have this from the beginning? So how are these dreams any different?
I think it's something that's developing. It's a talent that's developing. Maybe it's since she started
Okay.
developing her ability to channel, it's come along with that.
Well, Sheriam clearly thought from dreams she had previously that she had this talent. Previously.
On a previous episode.
Yes. So yes, she's had these types of dreams before. Otherwise, Sheriam wouldn't have even become interested in her as one of these.
I wouldn't say she hasn't had them probably before she started channeling, though, because otherwise she'd be like, oh, this is just all normal stuff. I have these types of dreams all the time.
Right. But
that makes sense. That's probably another silly
It's a developing talent.
There's definitely a difference between those dreams and what she experiences in Teleron Riod, which is why I'm separating them. I don't necessarily know that it's not that either one of them are less relevant. I think they're both equally relevant.
Experiences.
Yeah, right. I think they're very different experiences.
Good point.
So
well held.
So with the very first location that she experiences in Teleron Riod, she sees Perrin chained to a pillar with a wolf in front of him guarding the door.
Hopper, no less.
Hey,
good old Hopper.
I'm all for more Hopper.
Hopper.
Yeah.
Yep. So
hopping right along.
What is Perrin doing? What is going on there? Has he chained? It looks like he's chained himself there because he's holding both ends of the chain in his own hand.
Well, Perrin is his own worst enemy.
Are you really even questioning what he's doing? He's doing the same thing that he's been doing this entire time.
He's modeling.
He's being dopey about the
holding
fact
himself back.
That he actually has a superpower.
So he's imprisoning himself.
I don't want my superpower.
Is your interpretation?
That's my opinion. Yes, that's my opinion.
I think that's a good opinion.
Okay.
I'm going to second that opinion.
It definitely,
because that's what we've been presented with to this point.
Man.
Yeah,
and then
in which case, boo Perrin.
No, and then hold on.
Boo Earns and boo Perrin.
And then Hopper is about to attack Egwene, and then
so
finally Perrin's like, "No, don't do it." Right when he needs to do it. Yeah.
And she shuts the door.
No, we don't want Hopper to attack
Egwene.
Go
kick rocks.
Yeah, are you rooting for Hopper to attack Egwene?
What is that?
No, that's not what I'm rooting for. What I'm rooting for is the fact that Perrin obviously can communicate with wolves. Stop trying to chain yourself up. Stop having a problem with the fact that this is what you are, and just hang out with Hopper.
Well, he is hanging out with Hopper.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I might get a little concerned if all of a sudden I found out that I is hearing wolf voices in my head. That might be a wee bit disconcerting.
I might be worried that I was going insane. Yes, that would be a thought that crossed my mind.
You
know what? The fact is that you know much more about the fact of
Now they live in a supernatural world unlike ours.
Yeah, exactly. So he should just be happy. He's obviously chaining himself up. Obviously, this is his burden. It seems like this is being presented as the fact that this is your burden.
Right, he's doing it to himself.
And the same thing is happening with Rand, but he's not doing it to himself.
And he can see me.
I know. Yes, Rand is his own worst enemy also.
By the way, here is a nexus of their two dreams also. So we have Rand and Egwene in the same dream, and we have Perrin and Egwene in the same dream.
So clearly, Rand and Perrin both are in Teleron Riod.
Yeah.
Teleron Riod.
Yeah. Now, whether or not they've been there before, we have no idea. Is that where their dreams have been prior to this point?
Is that Perrin's wolf dream? Apparently.
I think Perrin
maybe, but I mean...
I think Perrin has been.
Or was that apparent?
Can we draw by the same conclusion then that all of Rand's dreams have been here also?
No, not necessarily. But I know obviously in this case, Perrin is there now.
No.
Well, Rand is there now too.
Right, yeah. Maybe they are all the same, but they're different pockets.
I thought we had another forest dream with Rand last week. That seemed like...
No, that was real. Well. That wasn't a dream.
Am I wrong
that was
about
real.
That? Oh.
Rand can separate the worlds out. Apparently Adam cannot separate the worlds out. Adam's confused about the dreams.
Adam, we're worried about you going insane. Right. We're going to have an intervention.
Stop having those dreams, Adam. Accept who you are.
My only other question, as long as we're talking about in dreams, is do we have any guesses as to who the people are that have been appearing to Rand? Are these all Baalzamon? Are they the other couple of Forsaken that we're guessing are out there?
They don't seem to be working together.
Yes, Adam. Yes to both.
It could be any other.
Sam.
I don't. Yes. If they're in conjunction with each other, they don't seem to be communicating very well. They all seem to have their own agendas, but maybe they all are.
Sylvie seems to suggest as much.
Yeah, they're sticking their irons into the fire and poking it and see what happens. Fire is Rand.
They're all trying to get back to their point of power before they were buried with the Dark One and imprisoned with the Dark One.
But some closer to the surface than others.
Okay. It's time to wake from our dream, but we're in for a rude awakening as we get taken to the mat. Boom. We finally get some Matt here, right? Like we've been talking and guessing about a Matt's superpower and wondering, is it his ability to speak in foreign languages?
Yes.
Is he some Seventh-day Adventist preacher? Who is this Matt and what is his superpower? I think we found his superpower, right?
Seventh-day Adventist.
The Seventh-day Adventist.
Adamantist.
Yes. Adamantiumentist. Yeah. So Matt wanders off with tons of food and a little bit of money and
not much, but he sure ends up with a whole
very
bunch.
Little bit of money and a note from the Amerlin seat allowing him to do whatever he wants.
Pretty powerful note.
So then he has this gambling frenzy.
Wait. Can we just have a slight side note here?
Are you asking me to back that up?
No. I hope.
No, I don't want to discuss any more about this other than the fact that this was a big ask for Matt from Nynaeve, Egwene, and Elaine. That's all I'm going to say.
Well, he didn't ask for it. They gave it to him because it's the only way they could get him to do it.
They asked for it. It was a big ask from them.
What I'm saying.
From them. I thought you meant asking them for the note.
No, it's a big deal that they're like, oh, wait, we can trust Matt to do this. Anyhow, go ahead.
That being said, their argument for him is totally valid, which is one, he does not want to be in Tar Valley.
True.
Matt will complain about something, but they know in the end he's going to be reliable to do it. Whether he wants to or not, he's going to come through. And they know this about Matt. And so they know they're going to get him to do it. It's just the price they have to pay to get him to do it.
I think they're aware of that.
They didn't have to pay any price. There was no price.
They lost one of the they only got 2 of these letters. What if they get split up?
That's very valuable. Yes.
True.
Very valuable. It's a very steep price. Now, Matt does actually have to admit that there have been a couple of promises that he's made to one of them that he has not
fulfilled. But I'm thinking that's in the minority as opposed to the majority.
Certainly. But he doesn't want to be there. And he does want to travel. And I'm sure he would love to see a queen.
He'd probably want to dance a jig with her.
So they're asking him to do...
Maybe steal a cuddle.
They're asking him to do all sorts of things that he would love to do, but they also realize that he, like Rand, the minute he gets told to do something, is going to resist.
Or any Emmons Fielder, for that matter.
Probably. Man. I mean, any Emmons Fielder man.
Or Nynaeve.
Yeah. So they know that they have to position it in a certain way, but they're not. But you're right, Adam. They are asking him to do a lot, because they're asking him to travel a long distance and then see a queen. But at the same time, if they had laid out a bunch of different options for him, and that was one of them, he probably would have chosen it.
Now, I think the biggest, most difficult thing for Matt was they didn't have any money to give him to do that. Now, that ended up working out okay.
Yeah.
But that's the thing that would have been the most difficult, because he now is starting to get accustomed to his
life. They did have
money.
Like Eric said, they gave him
Tuppence.
The most money. And that was the seal of the Amerlin.
They give him some. Right. So off he goes, and he gets into this gambling frenzy.
Which is amazing.
He has this running monologue while it's going on, which is he's trying to figure out if this has ever happened to him before, and he's trying to figure out while it's going on what's happening. So the question is this a new event? Is this an extension of things for Matt?
I think
where does this come from?
It's a greater occurrence of because he does indicate that he's been successful gambling before, not like this.
He does not lose at games of chance all night long. He never loses once.
Doesn't lose one hand, and it's a winning hand every time. Crazy.
This is a superpower.
Yeah, this yes. Either this is fate intervening itself, which we don't know. We don't know if this is a superpower, because we have to have more occurrences of it to know, or it's fate has gifted Matt with the night like no one else has, unless you're in Vegas and you win the house.
What a night.
Oh, what a night indeed. And good thing, because Matt needed the money, and there it is. How amazing is this? He just goes on this tear. He gets all this money, and he does it smart. He doesn't stay at the same place long enough to tick anybody off. He manages to boppity-bippity-scoppity his way all the way through town, upstairs and downstairs, like Wee Willie Winky, taking everybody's money, and then he gets out clean until, of course, the thieves catch on to him and see how much money he's taken, and then, Gray Man and all that sort of stuff. But He goes through all this.
Taviran.
It's
it
so
seems
cool.
like it's Taviran sprinkled on with a little bit of that dagger and then the healing power. In that,
Well, that's what Matt guesses.
I've ever eaten.
It's like all the above.
Matt guesses it's the dagger.
I don't think it's a dagger.
I don't think it's a dagger either.
Well, he does.
The dagger. Well, yeah, but he's also not the.
I know he does.
Yeah.
And he also thinks that you're right. He's not necessarily the most objective person when it comes to this, but it definitely is a question because he thinks back and he's like, I've been lucky before, and we've seen instances of him being lucky and him doing well with gambling, but but never like this. He's obviously in the throes of something.
No, he's worried about it. It's a fever pitch.
Yeah,
yeah,
and so
he's worried about it.
I'd be happy about it.
We need to see if it
like,
happens.
I finally got my
see if
thing.
it happens again, but it's obviously crazy. So then
This is crazy.
So then he leaves and he dodges the thieves. He evades the thieves, climbs onto the rooftop. And by the way, and I'm sure you guys noticed this, he's thinking about, hey, I had that event that I got a little bit lucky in dodging those thieves. And then there is a moment where he's like, I feel like somebody's following me, and he brushes it off.
Yep.
But
so
somebody is.
Yeah.
He also has some sort of sixth sense to
I think it's all tied together in that
the
night.
gray men possible, but then
I don't know if that's the case or not.
Well, we
I
don't
think
know.
I don't think it's sensing the gray men. I just think it's
okay.
I think everything's heightened that night.
You and I disagree. I think he definitely because there's this moment where he's like, I feel like something is following me. He's like, no, that's ridiculous.
He felt like the other fools were following him as
And
well.
they were.
So
And they were.
I think it's exactly. I think it's a heightened sense of awareness.
So I'm kind of with you on that, Adam. I don't know if it's
gray
yeah,
men. It's just,
yeah. I think he's just that
people
night is
following him.
he's attuned to everything that is going on.
He brushes
He's
this
really
one off though,
lucky.
whereas he doesn't brush
He
off the
shouldn't
thieves.
have. But maybe it's wearing down.
Right? Yeah. Maybe he's coming down from the high.
Yeah,
And
it
then
still worked out in his favor because he still lived.
I don't think he's coming down from it.
So he's
It's not.
he's
even,
lucky.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what he concludes.
Exactly. He's lucky. That's all we're saying.
Luck is
He's
working in
super
his
lucky.
favor every single way that night.
Yes. And then he sees this character that's going across the bridge who happens to be a gray man, who happens to be
There's that guy again. Oh, there's that
one
guy
of the
again.
most vicious
He's getting
freaking
closer.
things in the world.
There's that guy
Again,
again.
that's just taken care of, no problem.
Well, he
Luck.
doesn't. He
Luck
jumps.
was his lady that
I
night.
need more examples of the gray men killing people.
Well, thankfully, we haven't had any gray men kill anyone
I
we
need
like.
more for them to trust in their absolute powers, is my point.
So the way that it happens is he jumps down onto the bridge from the rooftop.
What matters is the fact that he realized, oh my gosh, the only way I can do this is by rolling the dice and falling off the bridge.
Right, let's roll
And
the
then
dice.
He's like, we're going to go. He realizes, it's sweet. You cushioned my fall. That's how I survived. And then he looks back and he's like, oh, no. Actually, the dagger went straight through your heart.
Luck.
So I am the luckiest of the luckiest. Yeah.
Fortune favors the brave.
There is the moment where he's like, all right,
Sure.
I'm sitting here with my back over this half wall on this bridge. The only way that I can get out of this is to throw myself and this guy over.
To roll the dice.
But then,
Yes.
right, exactly. But then when it's all done, he looks down and he's like, what the heck did I do? As if he were in some sort of a trance the whole time and only now coming out of it to realize some of the decisions that
Like
he
Adam
made and
said,
how
the fever
stupid
pitch.
they were.
The fever
Yeah.
pitch. He was caught up in the adrenaline rush of everything, or luck, or chance, or whatever. Fate was intervening, and yeah.
So it suggests that when he decides to roll the dice with that guy, he's not really thinking clearly. He's just kind of going with it. He's just sort of going with everything that's been happening.
He's surviving. He's just trying to survive. Yeah. But he was taking some action at least a little bit.
Yeah.
And then it turned out in his favor. Matt, way to go.
Well, it's a crazy, it's a crazy series of events, and it's not over. The night's not over.
Yeah.
He's wandering into this other inn. So that's the other question: is do we think is he gonna get out of Tar Valon today?
What else is going to happen? We'll get the Lady of Tanchico.
Are we going to
Right. I'm wondering though if he's going to make it out of Tar Valon, because we know his knees are starting to get really weak. He's that hunger is starting to come back on him.
Well, he's got money to buy food.
He's so lucky.
He does. He has.
He's so lucky.
And he's got a letter that says, give
He's
this
so
kid
lucky.
whatever he wants. So
So that's the other question. How much buying power does he have in those couple of bags?
quite He's rich.
A
He
lot.
said he's rich. He's got
It's-
tons and tons of gold.
It's not even a question.
He was
And
giving
yes,
away
he
silver
could buy
pennies like it
anything.
was, going out of style.
Yeah.
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 He gave his silver pennies to women just because he liked their knees or something. I don't know, something goofy. So
He is. Yeah. He's
a man of resources.
I guess he's like a lord at this point.
In no time at all, though. He would not want to hear that. He does not like the nobility.
Okay. Let's get up off the mat and bid happy trails to Els Grinwell. You
This is gonna
got
be short.
kicked out of Tarvalon 10 days ago, even though nobody knew. And
Els, we barely knew you.
Except for Swan and probably a couple of other sisters who didn't have any respect for you.
Go eat some more bonbons.
We send you and your flirtatious and bimbetic ways out the door and away from Tarvalon.
But pleasantly plump.
So that brings us to our Coplin of the Week. Dave, who is your Coplin of the Week?
My Coplin of the week is Perrin in the Dream. He's so annoying. He's his own worst enemy. He's just accept your power, man. Even though it's scary, yes, and I get it, but yeah, that's who I'm going with.
Still holding himself back.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Perrin, you annoyed Dave this week. You're his Coplin of the Week.
In that brief moment that you were there.
My Coplin of the week is Greymen.
Huh?
What?
All right.
You guys are everywhere and haranguing everyone. Get out of our way so that we can proceed with this story.
Dying without us even knowing why.
Yeah. Fortunately, you are dying a lot, so
Right.
that's the good thing.
That's to our favor.
But gray men are the fly in the ointment for many of these, for many of our protagonists. That brings us to you, Adam.
Mine is Nynaeve. I need to get my revenge on Moraine for taking us out of the two rivers. And blah, blah, blah.
Right. I mean, for giving Egwene, she's terrible because she gave Egwene everything she wanted.
Yeah.
You're a horrible woman for
Nynaeve,
that.
Stop it.
Well,
You're holding a grudge for
No reason. No
absolutely no
valid
reason, and I'm sick of it.
Other than probably inherent jealousy.
Yeah.
All right, so that brings us to who leveled up?
Yay!
All right, so Adam, who leveled up for you this week?
My leveling up is Matt. Matt, way to go. You're really lucky.
No, that's a great answer. I agree. Eric, who leveled up for you?
So it's Matt. Matt has an amazing, exceptional experience. I think we find his true superpower.
We think
speaking in tongues is one thing, but being able to move from a pauper to a prince in one night of gambling is pretty incredible. So
We'll have to see if that frequently happens again.
Well, right. I mean, it could all come crashing down next episode, but it
The woman
doesn't.
at Tanchico might treat him badly.
It doesn't seem to be that way. He seems to have found something here. So
Yeah.
we will. So that is my who leveled up this week.
And as indicated, I said Egwene, she's discovering more of this, potentially this dreamer ability. So she's having these dreams and then being able to walk in the Tel Anriad, which is maybe the dream world of a sort. It is of
we
a
know it's
dream,
a dream
world.
world.
There might be other ones we don't know. And just her ability to navigate through that. And she got blasted out of the dream. And, the girls came up with the ideas of, we got to set this time in the future to wake you up. But I liked her bravery also. Her bravery after getting zapped out and being in pain. She's like, I'm going to go back and do this again. She'd already made up her mind that she was going to go back and do it again, no matter that it blasted her and she was in terrible, horrible pain. And
She sort of wonders why she immediately volunteered herself for that, but
Right.
yes, she does.
yeah, but she decided she's going to go back, and that's some chutzpah right there. So
Yes, absolutely.
so that was my who leveled up.
Well, that concludes episode 22. We hope you enjoyed the pod. Join us next episode covering the events of chapter 1 through chapter 36 as we start the second half of The Dragon Reborn. As always, I'm Eric, wishing may you rest in the Creator's hand.
Bye.